Hi friends, welcome to the channel. This is Yvonne from Ginger Chick Rehab, and if you are new here, I love to take secondhand finds and make them over, and I love to share the process with you all of what I do to these items to give them a new life. So in today's video, I am doing some trash to treasures. I'm taking some unwanted items and repurposing them, making them into something new, and sharing the process with you all.
There's just something about drawers. When things have drawers, I don't know why that makes it more attractive, but especially this long shelf with all those little drawers, oh my goodness. But I want to give them a more of an updated color. To do a color change, I'm going to have a lot of sanding to do. That color is all over, as you see, the inside, the outside, everywhere. So I'm going to start off with my Orbital sander and see what I can get off there. Now, I'm not going down and trying to make it natural woods by any means, because it's not a pretty wood underneath. I could tell as soon as I started. So I'm just trying to get it nice and smooth. Now, as I was sanding along, I'm like, hey, why is that one cracked? Because I did not notice it at all through the paint until I sanded the paint off. So luckily, the process for me as the quick fix and permanent fix is some CA Star Bond Glue. This thing, oh my gosh, y'all, yeah, I need this in your arsenal. So 15 seconds, so I'm just going to apply it to the crack. I'm going to hold the crack together. I'm going to spray the activator on it and then hold it together for 15 seconds. My fingers acting like the clamp to keep it clamped together. I kid you not, 15 seconds and it is dry. It is good to go. So now I just need to sand where I applied the glue, because it'll be raised and bumped, but you can sand it completely smooth and you won't even know at the end that it was repaired. You can see here where this was not, the red burgundy was not the original colors of these cubbies. Now that I've used my Orbital sander on most of the item that I possibly could, there's always those corners. So now I'm switching over to my mouse sander that has that corner tip that I can get in there. Now you can totally hand sand this. We are just blessed to be able to have power tools to help us along this journey. Now, not everywhere can a power tool fit, so some of it I do have to go ahead and hand sand, and I'm just using some 150 grit because this is really shiny and the paint is thick. I'm assuming it was a spray paint of some kind, but yes, I'm going to go ahead and get that hand sanded, especially inside where the drawer is going to be in and out, because that, if you don't sand it and give anything for your paint to grab onto, that paint is just going to rub off, especially opening and closing a drawer. And now that I have that part of the process done, it's time to get this washed up. And I'm just using Dawn dish soap and some hot water and just wiping it off, getting it nice and clean. Now, y'all, I don't want you to think that I am painting these black. I'm starting off with some of the areas black that I don't want to spend the time trying to hand paint and waste paint that my little bit more expensive paint. I rather just get these little areas spray painted with some Rust-Oleum black matte paint. So for the color change, I'm going to be using Fusion's French Eggshell. I love this soft blue color, and I just really think this is going to update this cubby. Now, the one thing I did not video is that I used shellac on this piece because of that red burgundy, and it was still kind of coming off on my hands when I was washing it. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to possibly bleed through the Fusion's paint. Now, the Fusion's paint has primer, paint, and top coat all in it, but you know, I don't want to have to repaint and have problems, so I thought I would just spray that on and get it protected. I could paint them the same, but I'm not going to because I love testing out and seeing all these beautiful colors. So for this one, I'm using the Inglenook, and this is a little bit more green than blue than that French Eggshell. Just a nice, soft, almost cottage core-like color. Oh, just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. But now I'm on to my coat number 2. So you'll really notice the difference because it just grabs that next coat so well that usually 2 coats and you're done. Sometimes when you have a really light color, when I would consider this a light color, it might take 3, but oh, it just, that first coat just gets it on there. That second coat just grabs and is beautiful. As beautiful as this color is, I am a fan of aging, so it's just a personal taste thing. And then this has little, like somebody hammered little details in it. So I'm going to be using some of the antiquing glaze to give it just some aged look. Now this piece, because of that red, I really don't want a chance trying to sand it and distress the edges by any means. So I'm just going to add this antiquing glaze to give it some age. So it's a wipe on and then you wipe off the excess. I am amazed at how far this antiquing glaze goes. I am just now finishing up my first little tester bottle. Yep, just a tester bottle to see if I liked it and how it compared to antiquing wax. But wow, does it go a long way. Let's get to the fun part. Yes, the painting is the fun part, but the decorating, the adding of the bling. And my bling is rusty, crusty. I just love old age things that other people a lot of times overlook. And adding, everything that just tones right together, from that rusty, crusty grater to that little duck that came in an auction haul that some people might have just tossed off to the side. The patina of it being aged and a little bit on the dirty side. Even though I wiped it off, it is what it is. And then adding these pip berries, these berries, and these rusty stars, and a little bit of the homespun fabric that matches that little ducky, and the berries just ties it all together. And I love that antiquing glaze so much, even though there is just a little bit in this bottle left. I somehow am making it go through. Yeah, I am, like I said, I'm amazed how little. A little bit definitely goes a long way. So the same thing with the Inglenook is I'm going to go ahead and apply it on here too. Back to my stash drawers to see. Let me see, y'all. What do I have that I could add onto the top of this? And y'all that buy from off of eBay, when I do these up for auctions, thank you so much. You even make it more fun for me to put these little cubbies together, these little vignettes together, because of just the overwhelming support that you have for me. So yes, I'm just playing around to see what I can do with this, just this plain simple somebody painted silver aged matchbox. Tell y'all, Godwink moments, these little duckies, gooses, oh, how they go with these cubbies. What I wasn't even planning on them. I actually was going to donate them to the auction house, and there they are, fitting on these cubbies perfectly. And they just blend well with this homespun fabric. Everything kind of just plays off of each other. And I always say, just keep working on a project until you love it. So I just thought it needed a little bit more. I have this star that I picked up at a local antique store that somebody had cut out of old tint metals. Oh, I love it. But I do think the backing, because the matchbox holder is so short, that there's that blank space at the top. The black of the tin coordinates with the black on the home spun fabric. See how it all is just playing off of each other? Now we have this little cubby slash shelf, and this, just like the other, I believe is a handmade piece. Look at the numbers, they numbered it, that each drawer goes in a different spot. I love it, even though when I picked it up, that's not how it was, but I love the length of it. I love those little cubbies. And so now we're going to remove these beautiful porcelain knobs. And then just like the other two cubbies, I need to get it sanded and prepped. Now you would think that I bought these all together, but I did not. The two first ones came from an antique store where somebody probably got them in an auction box, and we're selling them very cheap because they don't not everybody has the same vision, and they just want to make a little bit of money back. I get that. That's why I love going to antique malls and looking for items that I not only can resell, but I can make over. And then this one was a Goodwill pickup. I picked this one up at my local Goodwill. So yep, I sprayed that shellac on the same time the black paint was drying. It all worked out just fine. I had to wait for things to dry anyway, and that is just going to seal that red paint in. So for this one, I wanted to try something a little bit different on the color, and I have the Little Lamb by Fusion. Do y'all just buy paints because the name is so stinking cute? I did want a gray, but I just love the name of a Little Lamb. I needed to do 2 coats of paint on this, but same thing, I'm going to add that whatever is left in this jar. I cannot believe I'm getting through these 3 projects if you could have saw, I should have showed you the inside of what really the minute amount that was left. So it is working out perfectly. But in painting the inside of these blacks, and then because it has such sharp edges, I didn't need to tape off. I just needed to take my time around the edges. It just gave it that nice cleaned up look. I had a little bit more work to do with the knobs. There was some of that burgundy paint left on there. They were a little bit more on the dirty side. It wasn't just a wipe off and put back on. These I kind of had to take a little bit of time and scrape off that paint. Then I felt like you could see the hanging system actually in the middle of spray painting it. I'm like, oh, I forgot to remove the hanging system. But anyway, I got it off before I spray painted it. So I'm just going to be using some of the silver rub and buff. So when you do, it does get hung up, you don't really notice the hanging system so much. It's not detracting from that pretty shelf. We're not quite finished yet. I do have two shelves, two little cubbies that are in my stash that I want to share with you how I would decorate them. They have some oddities. The one is a little bit shaped odd, and then you have this one that's missing. It's missing something, but it's got that cute drawer in the bottom. So after just getting them cleaned up with the Dawn dish soap, hot water, you can see where this one has the plastic. There's a plastic drawer that surround the drawer is plastic, so it seeped into the wood and changed that color. So that's so pretty. But I want to share with you what and how I would style this up. So first I'm going to start off with a battery operated candle, because who doesn't love little night lights? And then it's kind of wonky at the bottom, but it is what it is. That's that perfectly imperfect of secondhand finds. So now I'm going to add a little bit more of this baby grass to it. Look at how that is just the color of the wood, that grungy candle. It's all going to play off of each other. I always like to get the most use out of my greenery. So clipping off the stems, pulling it apart, that really gives you more to play with, and you can really spread it around. And a lot of times I thought, oh, I'm going to need these two bunches, but no, I only really needed one. But that's going to give it that height. The candle's going to give it that height. It's going to fill in that backspace, and the greenery is just going to help make that candle pop out and that little bit lighter color that it needed inside that cubby. I need to do something with the top, and this is tall, so I wanted, I thought about a rusty crusty star, but the colors would match too well. So these old tin, old metal kitchen utensils, little figures just work out perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue this mold. I'm not sure what it is. And then this was a old cake tip, I believe. And then I just have this little pewter chicken, those little items that are really hard to put in your booth because you don't know if they're ever going to disappear. So making these little vignettes all together like this is perfect for them. You noticed on the painted ones, I did not hot glue. That paint is really fresh. So the chances of hot gluing and then pulling that paint up, yeah, it needs 2 weeks, 3 to a month to cure. But on this wood that I didn't paint, I don't mind at all. I like hot glue because you can actually just reheat it up and take it off, or just even pop it right off, and you can change out the decor if you want. It's not going to hurt the object at all. That's why a lot of my go-tos when I'm gluing stuff together so it doesn't shift or move, especially when I'm sending it for shipping, is hot glue. Now, I don't know if you all think this shape is odd. I do. I think it's a little odd, and it's a little bit tricky to come up with a way to style it up, especially the way that it triangles to a point and it just has that little bit of space, and it's really not as wide as you would think it would be. So I'm going to share with you my idea of what to do with this. And I just recently got an auction haul that had all this little yummies that just got my brain just a spinning. and yes, my motivation was, would you think it would have been a red plastic kid toy pig? But look, it's all going to play off of each other. Here we go. I have some old blocks. We've got a pea. We've got a piggy bank. So there we go. We got reds. And would you ever have thought to pair reds with a mustard colored little shelf? I don't know. That's just where my brain was going. So here we are. I'm adding a black, it's brown but almost black bottles to tie that red in together. I have some red pip berries. These were secondhand finds, so they're a little bit aged, and so they're bendy, which is perfect to go with the age of the blocks. And then I kind of thought I was going to add to this piece, but sometimes you're like, yeah, I don't love it. I'm going to test it out, but I don't love it. So, but just bear with me as I work through the process and share it with you all. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Yes, there's just those projects that I make over and I do, and it just leaves me wanting to do more. Little cubbies. I just have my heart that just gives me a reason to search for those littles. I love littles. I just absolutely love littles. And I love sharing with you all what to do with these outdated items, these unwanted items, and what to do with all those littles that just have our heart. So give me a quick comment down below. Have I inspired you to look at secondhand finds in a new way? And again, thank you for being part of our YouTube family. And if you were new and you were checking out this content for the first time and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when we've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.